Hello everybody, this is Kiyoshi here and welcome back to another video of Kiyoshi's Aquarium. Today's topic will talk more or deeper into floating plants. So without further ado, let's get started. I think I covered a little bit on floating plants in my previous videos. Basically, floating plants are very beginner friendly, and also they are a great addition to any planet aquariums or even plantless aquarium, because adding floating plants not only make the whole scenery beautiful, your tank will look great, and also it helps out, on the fish, on the fries, the shrimps. All they love floating plants because they provide some sort of cover and also shadings from the lightings. So it's something that most fish, if not all fish, would love. Also, if you have fish that like to jump out of the tank, adding floating plant is also like an additional protection against them jumping out from your aquarium. But still, a lid is strongly recommended, or lower your water level to a point so the fish cannot jump. But floating plants in general definitely helps on that. There's a lot of varieties of floating plants. There's there's hornwort, there's pennywort, there is salvinia, there's duckweed, there is what else? Red roof floater, there's frolic, there is probably more that I just couldn't think of, but I already named a couple. They're all beginner friendly, they're all easy to take care. They all require very similar requirements. Basically, you want to keep the leaves of those floating plants dry as possible, and also provide some sort of floating, but not like a crazy current. Most floating plants do prefer more of a calm currents. Aquarium temperature, try not to get too hot because it can burn into death, or just burn up. So make sure your aquarium is anywhere from maybe 70 to 78 at the very most. I like to keep my aquarium around 76 degrees Fahrenheit because that's what most creatures live comfortably in the sea, including plants and fish and shrimps. Also, floating plants also require nutrients. They are a great addition to, lowering your nitrogen in the water. They're good for cleaning and killing ammonia and all that kind of stuff. So one is add, of course, fertilizers, liquid fertilizers to the water. It's a source for them to munch on, and also lighting. Although most floating plants do not require like heavy lightings, because if it's a very strong lighting, they can actually burn to death. So motor lighting, unless you're doing what is it called, red roof floater. Red roof floater is a little bit harder, in my opinion. They do require a bit more light if you want them to turn red, like that beautiful red. Without enough light, they would just stay like green brownish. So yeah, and also probably more nutrients, potassiums and all that kind of stuff, iron. It's also required for them to turn red in the water. But other than that, most floating plants are still very beginner friendly. You can have a plantless tank, just adding floating plants, let them sit for like a month or 2 months. Once they start to develop these longer stems, and they start laying down, they will look very beautiful, like like tree leaves. You guys can think about it and do something like that. That looks really good with when the stems or the roots of the floating plants gets long enough, like halfway to your tank. It looks really beautiful. Also, shrimps love it, baby shrimps love it, fries love it, and fish in general, they will all love floating plants. Like I said, they provide cover, they provide shadings, and also for tiny fish or fries or baby shrimps, it's also a protection, for them, so they can, hide themselves from predators. And also, there's also a lot of food sources, micro sources that's going to be in those roots that babies or smaller aquarium invertebrates can eat or can have as food. Yep. So those are my takes of floating plants. Once again, I have experience with most of the floating plants. I think they all have pros and cons. You know, for example, I think I mentioned in the past, hornwort. Hornwort is extremely hardy, beautiful, fast growing. You know, very fast growing. They're basically like guppy grass, but hornwort is a little bit more delicate than guppy grass. If when everything goes correctly, hornwort is beautiful, and they grow really fast. You know, it's like instead of floating to the top, hornwort is more like floating in the middle of the water. You know, just kind of it's like a floater, and yeah, it acts basically it acts exactly like guppy grass or pennywort. Provides environments for shrimps, tiny fish, fries, all those kind of stuff for them to hide, for them to easier to catch food from the debris, you know, and also it's really nice to have that kind of aesthetics in your aquarium. The concept to hornwort is if anything goes wrong or your hornwort is about to die, all those needle-like leaves is gonna fell out. They're gonna they're gonna be everywhere in your tank, and those are really hard to siphon it out. Or if you try to manually remove those stems, you're gonna have a tough time. Yeah, I've had that experience in the past. So although I love hornwort, the way it looks, the way how it makes the tank looks pretty unique and beautiful. But yep, I no longer keep hornwort for that particular reason, because once they die, they do leave a bunch of leftovers, which is very hard to clean up. Guppy grass is very popular. I think it's an affordable, low requirement floating plant that I think every beginner probably have heard of or probably had. Although guppy grass is not the easiest to find everywhere, you know, not everywhere carries guppy grass, but definitely guppy grass are super hardy. They're a floating plant. They do its purpose, protecting the fries, protecting the shrimps. They all love it. So if you can find them, give them a try. You know, so yeah, those are yeah, my favorite one. I think from my experience, my favorite definitely frobig. Frobigs are very easy. They they grow very fast, and they're very hardy as well. I used to grow like frobig in my 10-gallon, and they grow so fast I sell them. You know, I make pretty good money. I think like I sell for $5 for like maybe 4 petals. Pretty cheap, right? Because I have a lot of it. You know, it's like a week later, a newborns are gonna happen. I do make quite a sustained decent income out of it, although I only sell them maybe $4 or $5 for like maybe 4 stems or something like that. But because I have endless amount of it, so that's why I sell it so cheap. But every month that does create a steady income in a way. So yeah, if you guys are planning to grow frobig or a red roof floater, if you have a great success, those actually helps you make money. You know, maybe not big money, but definitely you'll get some money back while you're doing your aquarium hobby. You know, that keeps it going. So I do recommend it. Instead of just breeding fish or breeding, shrimps, think about aquatic plants. You know, floating plants are some of the easiest and quickest producers of new plants. So you have a quicker turnover for making extra bucks when you sell them. Yeah, so those are my opinion on the floating plants. My favorite is frobig. I love red roof floater. I think they're beautiful, some of the most beautiful floating plants. However, I don't have much luck with red roof floaters. Like I said, they do require a little bit more nutrients in order to be that beautiful red color, which yeah, I'm kind of lazy and kind of enjoy more of a low tech. So it's not hard, you know, there's always those nutrients that you can get, those bottles you can get. If the plant is lack of iron, just add a little liquid iron to it. If there's lack of potassium, add a little bit of potassium to it. If there's lack of other nutrients, there's prime, there's bunch of nutrients that you can buy. It's not something impossible to make. It's just I'm lazy, and I try to minimize on whatever I need to make the tank better or the plants better. That's why I try to choose more of a beginner friendly, easy to take care, low maintenance sort of plants. So yeah, Frobig is definitely something I love the most. Duckweed, surprisingly, I don't have much luck with duckweed. I've tried raising duckweeds maybe twice in my 7 years or 8 years of aquarium keeping. However, never succeed with it. I know a lot of people have been saying duckweeds are, once they're in your tank, they're almost impossible to get rid of. For some reasons, I think I don't know if it's my water that's too soft or something. Whenever I try to raise duckweed, they die and they never come back. I don't even have to, I'm not even kidding or joking. I don't even have to scoot them out or anything like that. They just die and melt away, and they never come back. So yeah, I never had the chance to witness the hardiness of duckweed for some reason. But for example, if I checked my water parameters, everything, it looks good. And when I raise Frobig, Hornwort, Pennywort, or even red root floater, I have no issue. The only issue is red root floater, it's not turning red. It just stay like greenish, because of all the lack of iron and all that. But still, like Frobig, red root floater, I was able to raise them, and they will reproduce. Especially Frobig reproduce like crazy, but never had luck with duckweed for some reason. So if you guys have any suggestions on how to grow duckweed, I know it's kind of strange, right? But yeah, let me know. I try many methods. I tried it twice in a row. Just never had a chance to raise duckweed. I had very calm service, like zero aerations. I've tried moderate aerations, a little aerations, a lot of aerations. I've tried low light, I've tried medium light, I've tried high light, I've tried shallow water, I've tried like tall water in a 10-gallon. I've tried many methods, but yeah, for some reason duckweed just all died on me. Yeah, anyways, once again, my favorite is Frobig. I do recommend it. And for the aesthetic, I think the most beautiful one is definitely red root floater. If there's any way for you to find red root floaters, give it a try. I think those are beautiful. So yeah, that's my take on floating plants. I highly recommend floating plants for any aquariums, because they're beautiful floating plants. They're very unique, and they're a great addition to your tank. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye.